When I finally jolted awake, the clock read 11:30. I'd overslept, a knot of dread tightening in my stomach. I rushed to the lavishly decorated banquet hall, my heart pounding, only to be met with a scene that shattered my world. My girlfriend, Lily, Chen, the woman I was supposed to be marrying today, was locked in a passionate kiss with Julian Feng, her so-called unforgettable first love. I froze, disbelief washing over me in icy waves. The crowd around them was actually cheering, oblivious, or perhaps complicit. Blindly, I surged forward, pushing through the guests, and stormed onto the stage, yanking Lily's hand away from him. Her eyes widened in shock when she saw me, a flicker of acute embarrassment crossing her face. "Leo, what are you doing here?" Ignoring her, I pointed an accusatory finger at Julian. "What is he doing here?" The buzz of the guests grew louder. Lily, her face flushed, quickly pulled me to the side of the stage, her voice a harsh whisper. "Today is Julian's birthday, Leo. This wedding, it was my gift to him." My breath hitched. A suffocating pressure built in my chest. "Besides," she continued, her tone dismissive, "the wedding ceremony is just a formality. We're getting our marriage license tomorrow anyway. Don't be so petty." "Petty?" I choked out, the word tasting like ash. "Lily, you call this petty? What man on earth can stand by at his own wedding and watch his bride-to-be passionately kissing another man?" My accusation rippled through the hall, igniting murmurs among our friends and family. It clearly struck a nerve with Lily. She whirled on me, jabbing a finger at my nose, her voice rising to a shout. "Leo Vance, what nonsense are you spewing now? Julian and I grew up together. He's like a little brother to me. How can you twist our relationship into something so sordid?" Julian, hearing this, sauntered over, casually draping an arm around Lily's shoulders. He shot me a look brimming with insolent triumph. "Leo, buddy, don't be angry. I just idly mentioned a wish. I had no idea Lily sis would actually make it happen. If you're going to be mad at someone, be mad at me. Don't blame Lily sis." The sight of them, so comfortably intimate, sent a chill deep into my bones. Like a brother? The excuse was laughably pathetic. I stared at Lily, desperately trying to find a trace of the woman I had loved, the woman I had devoted 7 years of my life to. But looking at this defiant, self-righteous stranger, I could no longer force myself to play the fool, to blindly accept her words. I first met Lily during my freshman year of college. My parents had just died in a tragic car accident, and she had been like a ray of sunshine, constantly warming me with her encouragement and infectious optimism. Our love had blossomed naturally, effortlessly. The first few years of our 7-year relationship were idyllic, a testament to mutual support and deep affection. But everything changed when Julian Feng, her childhood sweetheart, returned. We began to argue frequently, always about Julian. Cold wars would descend, invariably broken by my concessions, my apologies, before she would revert to her former sweetness. But I couldn't bear the thought of such a life continuing after marriage. The last vestiges of my affection for her, the lingering hope, withered and died. In its place, surprisingly, bloomed a sense of profound relief. "In that case," I said, my voice surprisingly steady, "there's no need for a marriage license either. I wish you both a long and happy life together." A stunned, heavy silence fell over the entire wedding hall. Everyone stared at me, incredulous. For 7 years, my devotion to Lily, my willingness to put her first, had been legendary. No one, not even Lily herself, believed I would walk away over what she clearly considered a small incident. Lily's brow furrowed, her face contorting with anger. "Can you stop making a scene, Leo? I've already explained everything. What more do you want?" Her voice rose, laced with a threat. "If you continue this, you'll bear the consequences." A bitter laugh escaped me. "Fine." The surrounding guests started to murmur, some looking like they wanted to intervene, but Lily waved them off. "Don't bother with him. It won't be long before he comes crawling back like a mangy dog, begging for my forgiveness. I know exactly what he's thinking." Hearing her arrogant dismissal, a self-deprecating smile touched my lips. I turned and walked away. Lily had always been like this, using my love for her as a weapon, forcing me to compromise time, and again, the slightest hint of softness from her, and I'd come running back. Everyone knew I loved her to the bone, but they never considered that I, too, was human, that my heart could also grow weary. Leaving the auditorium, I hailed a taxi. Inside, I absently scrolled through my social media feed. A new post from Lily popped up, a fresh stab to my already wounded heart. It was a photo of Julian, his arm possessively around Lily, who was still radiant in her wedding dress. They looked like the perfect couple. And I was just a fool, a laughingstock in everyone's eyes. I had cared too much, shielded her from every storm, given her too much freedom. Forgetting that hearts can change. I never cared how much I gave. All I ever wanted was her wholehearted love. Now, I saw how utterly naive I'd been. Back at our apartment, I began to methodically pack away everything that reminded me of Lily. After a while, I noticed a new message from her. I'll be back tonight. I ignored it, silently switching off my phone. Exhausted, both physically and emotionally, I finished packing and fell into a deep, liberating sleep. The faint light of dawn was filtering through the curtains when the sound of the front door opening startled me awake. Leo Vance. Why didn't you reply to my messages? Lily stood in the doorway, her expression one of extreme displeasure. I said nothing. I knew why she was asking. In the past, whenever she stayed out late, I would constantly text her, ask for her location, and wait nearby until she was safely home. When I emerged from the bedroom, she demanded, "Where's the framed photo from the tabletop?" I glanced at the boxes packed by the door, about to speak, when her phone shrilled. She answered it immediately, her voice softening. As she walked further into the apartment, "Don't worry, Julian dear, it's almost ready. I'll bring it over as soon as it's done." The clatter of pots and pans from the kitchen told me she was preparing something for him. I decided to get ready for work. Coming out of the bathroom, I saw Lily holding a thermal flask in one hand and pointing to a bowl on the table with the other. "There's a bowl of pork rib soup there for you. Consider it my apology for yesterday." I glanced at the soup. My brow furrowed. It was full of carrots. I'm allergic to carrots. A bitter laugh welled up inside me. 7 years together, and she didn't even know about my carrot allergy. Someone who truly loves you knows your preferences, your aversions. Clearly, Lily had never truly loved me. I ignored the soup and went to the kitchen for a glass of water. Lily watched my actions, her face contorting with anger. "Casting pearls before swine. You don't deserve this soup." With that, she snatched the bowl and dumped its contents into the trash. I merely nodded. Yes, only he deserves it." Lily looked at me, a flicker of confusion in her eyes. She started to speak, but another urgent ring from her phone cut her off. She grabbed the thermal flask and slammed the door behind her. I glanced at the discarded soup in the trash, then called my assistant to arrange for a cleaner to come and to have all of Lily's remaining belongings shipped to her. I had just finished changing the code on the door lock when my phone rang again. "Mr. Vance, the custom ruby jewelry set you ordered a month ago is ready. You can come and collect it at your convenience." I'd almost forgotten. I stared blankly at the photos the sales associate sent. The rubies shimmered with a soft, inner light, like fallen stars. They were meant to symbolize Lily, who had once been a star in my eyes. No longer. She wasn't worthy. "Smash them," I told the sales associate, my voice flat. "I don't want them." There was a stunned silence on the other end, quickly followed by panic. "Mr. Vance, is there something unsatisfactory? We can recustomize it for you." "Don't worry," I clarified. "I'll still pay in full. They are beautiful, but she doesn't deserve them." I promptly settled the remaining balance. A moment later, a photo arrived, the shattered rubies, now worthless. Just like her, in my eyes. With that final matter settled, I drove to the office. As soon as I arrived, my assistant rushed over. "Mr. Vance, the driver is scheduled to pick up Ms. Chen at 5 for her hair and makeup. You'll be attending the charity gala together tonight." Her words jolted my memory. The charity gala. I'd completely forgotten. That won't be necessary anymore. Tell the driver he doesn't need to pick her up. In the past, I'd always invited Lily as my companion to such events, hoping to help her network for her fledgling design studio. Now, there was no need. Arriving at the gala, I was greeted by an unexpected sight. Lily, stunning in an evening gown, was flitting about the room with Julian Feng, schmoozing with various influential figures. It suddenly clicked. This gala was invitation only. Lily had asked me for an extra invitation weeks ago, so it had been for Julian all along. The moment Julian spotted me, he trotted over, his expression one of feigned contrition. "Leo, buddy, you're here. Yesterday was all my fault. Lily sis was just indulging me because it was my birthday. I'm really sorry." Lily rushed to his side, cooing, "How could it possibly be your fault, Julian? It was your birthday. You were the star. Your happiness was all that mattered." She then shot me a venomous glare. "Unlike some people, whose hearts are as small as a pinhole. Later, if you see anything you like at the auction, just tell me. I'll buy it for you. Her words made Julian preen. He couldn't resist a taunting remark. Leo, buddy, let's sit together at the auction later. I watched their performance, a wave of nausea rising within me. In 7 years, Lily had rarely given me any gifts. If she did, they were usually hand-me-downs, things Julian didn't want. And I showered her with luxury gifts for every anniversary, every birthday, every special occasion. If she liked them, she'd glance at them. If not, she'd accuse me of having no taste, of being crass. Yet, a cheap trinket from Julian was treasured, carefully preserved. A humorless smile touched my lips. No, thank you. We're in different leagues. The organizers have already arranged my seating. My refusal clearly irked them. Both Lily and Julian's faces darkened. Just then, the host took the stage, his voice booming. Respected leaders, esteemed guests, friends. Good evening. On this special night, we gather. Before he could finish, an attendant approached me. Mr. Vance, this way, please. I'll show you to your seat. Ignoring the pair fuming behind me, I followed the attendant to a private booth arranged by the organizers. Settling in, I perused the auction catalog. Nothing particularly caught my eye. I decided to bid on a landscape painting currently being introduced, just to make a contribution. I pressed the bid button. To my surprise, Julian immediately countered, casting a challenging look in my direction. I raised an eyebrow and bid again. Lily then raised her paddle, 1.5 million. We went back and forth, the price escalating, until the landscape painting was finally sold to Lily for 5 million. Whispers rippled through the audience below. Weren't they supposed to be getting married? Did they have a fight? Didn't you hear? Miss Chen apparently confessed her love for the Feng family's illegitimate son yesterday. That Miss Chen is a fool then. She had a catch like Leo Vance and threw him away for an illegitimate brat. What a waste. Hearing these comments, I raised an eyebrow and discreetly summoned an attendant. I'd like to see the OTA, backstage/organizers, financial verification. I have reason to believe the recent winning bidder may not have the funds to cover that purchase. In a private viewing room backstage, an attendant carefully handed the painting to Julian. He cradled it joyfully, and seeing his delight, the earlier displeasure on Lily's face vanished. She fished a black credit card from her purse and handed it to the staff. The staff member's next words made her jaw drop. I'm sorry, madam, but this card has been declined. Lily snatched the card back, her voice shrill with disbelief. Impossible. Why isn't it working? This card is. The fish had taken the bait. Indeed, it was the supplementary card I had given Lily. I had contacted my assistant yesterday to have it deactivated. My phone vibrated insistently. It was Lily, her panicked face visible on the security feed displayed on my tablet in the booth. A smirk touched my lips. I switched off my phone and left the gala. Later, my assistant informed me that Lily had maxed out her own credit cards and still came up short by tens of thousands, ultimately having to borrow money from Julian to cover the painting. The next morning, a shrill, insistent ringing dragged me from sleep. I answered groggily, only to be met by Lily's furious roar. Leo Vance, what is the meaning of this? Why did you change the passcode to the apartment? I know you're in there. Open this door. Listening to her shrewish tirade, I genuinely couldn't understand. If Lily loved Julian so much, and I had effectively given them my blessing, why was she now here, demanding entry and explanations from me? Lily continued to shout and bang on the door. I calmly went about my morning routine, showering, dressing, dealing with a few urgent emails, before finally opening it. Lily, who had been glaring daggers at the door, scowled fiercely when she saw me. She raised her hand to slap me, but I caught her wrist. Why did you take so long to open the door? And why did you cancel my card yesterday? Do you have any idea how embarrassed I was? Her voice rose again. Can't you be more magnanimous? It was such a small thing. Why did you have to blow it out of proportion? I already explained the reason. Why are you being so vindictive? I watched her histrionics with a weary sense of detachment. Seeing my silence, she tried to push past me into the apartment. I stood firm, blocking her way. Her expression soured. What? You dare to lock me out now? Watching her, acting like a common virago, I couldn't help but mock my own past subservience. I looked at her coolly. The gift you bought for Julian Feng, using my card. Who do you think you are to do that? I made myself very clear yesterday. We are finished. I have no relationship with you now. Hearing the finality in my tone, Lily faltered, a flicker of panic in her eyes. But it was quickly replaced by a confident, almost arrogant certainty. Are you really willing to throw away our 7 years together? I know I made a mistake, Leo, but I truly didn't mean for it to happen like this. Please, forgive me, okay? Can you really bear to let me go? Her voice softened, wheedling. Let's not fight anymore, okay? Fight, I repeated, a humorless smile playing on my lips. Lily, when did I ever fight with you? Do you think I'd say such things deliberately just to provoke a fight? My gaze was cold, unyielding. Lily sensed my detachment. Genuine panic finally registered on her face. She lunged forward, trying to embrace me, but I sidestepped her. Leo, I was wrong. It's always been you in my heart. Give me one more chance, please. I promise I'll never do it again. Watching her desperate pleas for reconciliation, I saw a reflection of my former, pathetic self. That's exactly how I used to be, always clinging to the warmth of our early days, forgiving her time and time again, only to end up scarred and broken. Lily Chen, I said, my voice devoid of emotion. What makes you think I will always love you unconditionally, spoil you, and forgive you without limit? We were together for 7 years. Search your heart and tell me, did I ever truly matter more to you than Julian Feng? 7 years, even a stone would have warmed by now. But what did you ever give me? Asking these questions, a weight lifted from my chest. I had wanted to ask them for so long, but had always held back, fearing her reaction. Now, her answers no longer mattered. Seeing the helpless, lost look on her face, I closed my eyes briefly, then gestured towards the hallway. Leave, Lily. I've said all I need to say. Don't make me call security to remove you. Lily just stood there, stunned, making no move to leave. I picked up my phone and dialed building security. Security? There's someone causing a disturbance at my apartment. Realizing I had actually made the call, Lily frantically tried to grab my arm, but I brushed her off. Tears streamed down her face, her voice choked with sobs. Leo, Before she could finish, I cut her off. Seeing the security guards arrive, I gestured for them to escort her away and turned back into my apartment, closing the door on her and our past. I encountered her again 3 days later. I was having a business dinner with a female associate, Stella Maxwell. The polite conversation was abruptly shattered by a splash of ice-cold water. When I saw who had thrown it, my temper flared. Stella, however, calmly took a napkin and dabbed at her wet hair, her expression one of utter disdain as she looked at the intruder. I hastily pulled Lily away from the table, trying to prevent another deluge. The culprit herself showed no remorse, instead pointing an accusatory finger. Leo Vance, is it because of this vixen that you're treating me this way? She then turned on Stella, her voice dripping venom. You're the homewrecker who seduced my husband. I'm here today to teach you a lesson, you little tramp. Her nonsensical rant gave me a throbbing headache. I rubbed my temples. Seeing my expression, Lily took it as a sign of guilt or weakness and lunged, intending to grab Stella's hair. But Stella was quicker, blocking the attack and delivering a sharp slap across Lily's face. Crack! The crisp sound echoed through the restaurant. Stella looked down at Lily, who had stumbled and fallen, her voice laced with contempt. You think you can lay a hand on me? Everyone in high society knows about your sordid little affairs. Who do you think you are now? Lily, stunned, lay on the floor for a moment before scrambling to her feet, ready to retaliate. Seeing the scene escalating, I quickly stepped between them, grabbing Lily's arm, my voice tight with anger. Lily, are you insane? What are you doing now? I've already made it perfectly clear. We are over. Who I am with now is none of your business. She ignored me, lunging forward and wrapping her arms tightly around my waist, burying her face in my chest, sobbing wretchedly. Leo, I don't want to break up. I only want to be with you. Let's go get our marriage license right now, okay? Looking down at the crazed woman clinging to me, a wave of revulsion washed over me. I forcefully pushed her away. Staring at Lily, now sprawled on the floor again, I began to recount her past betrayals. Last year, when I had acute appendicitis, I begged you to take me to the hospital. You said Julian Feng had gotten a leg cramp while swimming, was scared, and needed you. You told me to call an ambulance myself. On my birthday, we had plans to see a movie. I waited for you at the cinema until the last show ended. You never came. Later, I received a message saying you'd gone on an overseas trip with him. Whenever Julian was involved, you always prioritized him. Lily opened her mouth to offer an excuse, but I cut her off with a wave of my hand and continued. Lily Chen, you have absolutely no credibility left with me. I will never believe you again. With that, I walked over to Stella, who had been observing the scene with a composed, if slightly amused, expression. I apologize for today's incident, I said sincerely. It was entirely my fault. If you don't mind, perhaps we could reschedule? Stella smiled, shaking her head. She pulled out her phone, a playful glint in her eyes. Of course we can. But next time, I'd rather not encounter any unpleasant individuals. How about I choose the venue next time? She then presented her WeChat QR code. Without hesitation, I agreed. After adding her contact, I left the restaurant. But I had still underestimated the depths of Lily's shamelessness. The next day, outside my company building, Lily was there, dressed in a wedding gown, shouting through a megaphone. Leo Vance, I'm sorry. I've come to marry you. Her parents were beside her, adding fuel to the fire. Everyone, come and see. The CEO of Vance Corporation has been with my daughter for 7 years. They were about to get married, and he cheated on her with a homewrecker. How many 7 years does a girl have in her youth? This is such an injustice to my daughter. Lily's stunt quickly drew a large crowd of onlookers, many filming with their phones and uploading the videos online. Watching the videos spread, a sharp pain throbbed in my temples. I immediately called my assistant to handle the situation and went downstairs. When Lily saw me, she rushed over excitedly. Leo, look, I'm wearing a wedding dress for you. Didn't you always say I look beautiful in a wedding dress? If I had seen her in a wedding dress before all this, I would have been moved to tears, overjoyed at marrying the woman I loved. Now, the sight of her in bridal attire only filled me with disgust. Lily Chun, seeing you in a wedding dress now only brings back the nauseating memory of your betrayal at our last wedding. My words left Lily stunned. Her mother quickly stepped in. Leo, about the last wedding, it's true our Chun family wronged you. We disciplined her harshly afterwards. But now, you say you don't want my daughter anymore. What is she supposed to do in the future? I let out a cold laugh. What is she supposed to do? At the last wedding, everyone knew your daughter was marrying Julian Feng. What does that have to do with Leo Vance? Aren't I doing them a favor by letting them be together now? They clearly have feelings for each other. Hearing this, Lily's mother was momentarily speechless, but then stammered. Leo, how can that illegitimate son Julian possibly compare to you? In our hearts, you will always be our only future son-in-law. Lily's father also spoke, his tone grave. Leo, we truly wronged you. We didn't discipline our daughter properly. But considering she's been with you for 7 years, can't you find it in your heart to forgive her? Forgive? What a joke. They had so many chances before, why didn't they cherish them then? Now it was too late. No. Hearing my definitive answer, Lily's father glared at his daughter with frustration, then gritted his teeth. Since it's come to this, you should at least give my daughter some compensation, right? I want the East City Development Project. His audacious demand made me laugh. The East City Project was a key national development initiative. Over 7 years, the Chen family had already profited immensely by leveraging my name. Now they wanted the East City Project? They should consider if they were even worthy. I scoffed. The East City Project is out of the question. I'll give you one last chance. Leave now, explain the truth about today's incident to the media, and I'll let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. With that, I instructed my assistant to escort them out and return to my work, ignoring their reactions. The next day, videos of Lily's stunt were trending. Angry comments flooded my company's social media accounts. Can't believe the CEO of Vance Corp is such a scumbag. Boycott their products. Scumbags are like tumors. Sisters, be careful when choosing a man. The online abuse escalated, and the company's stock price plummeted. Watching the increasingly agitated board of directors, I prepared to use this crisis to clean house. Just then, a WeChat message vibrated. I swiped it open. It was from Stella Maxwell. The Chen Group approached me yesterday. They told me you gave them the East City Project. I'm free tonight. I can give Mr. Vance a chance to explain. Her message instantly clarified everything. From the stunt outside my office to the viral videos, it was all a calculated move to pressure me into giving them the East City Project. Vance Corporation had been developing the East City Project since last year, investing over $1 billion. It was impossible to just hand it over. It seemed the Chen Group was truly desperate to get this project for free. I immediately accepted Stella's invitation. When I arrived at the designated location, I realized it was a hot pot restaurant near our old university. I didn't dwell on it. Stella was already there. I apologized for my tardiness. Stella wasn't annoyed. As soon as I sat down, I began to explain the situation with the East City Project. When I finished, Stella chuckled softly, which puzzled me. Look how nervous you are, she said. We both know how much investment we've each poured into the East City Project. Now that it's nearing completion, Why would either of us hand it over to someone else? You're not a fool to be taken advantage of. Her words calmed me. We then discussed many details about various projects. Suddenly, Stella asked a question that caught me off guard. Do you still love Lily Chen? I hadn't expected such a personal question. After a moment, I replied, no, there's no future for us. Then, what do you think of me? Looking into Stella's earnest eyes, I was a bit flustered. Ms. Maxwell, you are a very ambitious and highly professional woman, a true powerhouse, like a rose blooming proudly amidst a storm. Hearing my words, Stella's eyes curved into crescents. I have my soft moments too. When I started university, I had a secret crush on a senior. Watching him on the speech podium, he was so brilliant, like the moon in the sky. Many people liked him back then. Listening to her story, it felt like we were old friends chatting. I casually asked, and then? Stella looked up at me. And then, the senior got a girlfriend. When I found out, I was heartbroken for a long time. I regretted not being braver. If I had been, would the girlfriend by his side have been me? She tilted her head slightly, waiting for my response. If I bravely confessed now, do you think he would agree, Senior Vance? Honestly, I nodded at first without fully processing it. It was only when I replayed the last part, Senior Vance, that it hit me. I carefully put down my chopsticks, looking at the radiant woman across from me, unsure how to respond. After some thought, I replied, Ms. Maxwell, I'm very sorry, but right now, I'm not looking to start anew. Before I could finish, Stella interrupted. I know. You're still healing from your last relationship. I'm not rushing for an answer. If you do decide you're ready to date again, would you consider me? I nodded. After dinner, I made sure Stella got home safely, mulling over the day's events. But my main focus remained the North City project. I contacted my assistant, instructing them to release the surveillance video from the wedding hotel on the company's official website, withdraw all investments from the Chen Group, and simultaneously gather evidence of the Chen Group's tax evasion to submit to the tax authorities. My assistant was efficient. Within 3 hours of the video's release, public opinion online had completely reversed. The next morning, as I was about to drive to the office, Lily's father blocked my car. Forced to stop, I watched as he hurried over. Mr. Vance. Leo, I know Lily was wrong. I've already disciplined her severely. Can you please show some mercy and spare our company? Thinking about their previous attempts to frame and extort me, I felt no inclination to forgive. I called security to remove him and drove off. Arriving at the office building, I found Lily waiting to ambush me. Seeing her, a surge of anger rose within me. I've said everything I need to say. There's nothing more to discuss between us. Hearing this, Lily's face changed drastically. She immediately tried to grab my arm. Leo, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me, okay? I really miss you so much. But a slender, elegant hand intercepted hers, linking with mine. Seeing it was Stella Maxwell, my expression softened. Stella looked directly at Lily, her voice firm. Miss Chen, why aren't you with Mr. Feng today? Are you trying to cause a scene with my boyfriend in public? Hoping to extort some money, perhaps? Lily's face turned deathly pale, all color draining from it. She stared at Stella and me in disbelief. Stella leaned against my shoulder, a faint smile playing on her lips. And I have to especially thank you, Miss Chen. If you hadn't personally pushed him away, I wouldn't have found such a wonderful boyfriend. Lily's expression became even more wretched. She looked as if she might collapse. I ignored her and walked away with Stella. Somehow, a strange sense of exhilaration filled me. Once inside the company, Stella gently withdrew her hand, looking at me with a hint of embarrassment. I couldn't help myself just now. I hope you don't mind me. Well, giving your ex a piece of my mind. I chuckled and shook my head. Of course not. Why would I get angry over someone who no longer mattered? The North City project was nearing completion. Stella and I worked together more and more frequently. She also had an uncanny knack for appearing whenever Lily tried to harass me, effectively defusing the situation. Our daily interactions significantly changed our relationship. It was like finding a kindred spirit. We talked about work, life, hobbies, two streams of thought merging, creating an endless flow of conversation and deep resonance. Until that night, I was working late at the office, engrossed in my work, and had forgotten to eat. My appendicitis flared up again. I lay curled on the floor, the intense pain making me want to pass out. I tried to call for an ambulance, but I didn't even have the strength to get up. Just as I was about to give up, I saw Stella rushing towards me, her face etched with worry. Her arrival brought an immense sense of relief. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. Seeing Stella asleep in the chair beside my bed, a warmth spread through my heart. My previous relationship and its betrayal had made me lose faith, but Stella's presence made my heart beat wildly again. I couldn't help but gently stroke her hair. She stirred, her eyes fluttering open, still hazy with sleep. In that moment, my feelings crystallized. This time, I would live for myself. Stella Maxwell, will you be my girlfriend? A cute little tuft of hair stood up on her head. Her eyes widened, then blinked, as if she couldn't believe what she was hearing. After a moment, she asked tentatively, "Are you proposing yourself to me as a reward for saving you?" I smiled. "Yes. Would you accept such a reward?" She nodded slowly. "Well, I suppose I can reluctantly accept." After I was discharged, Stella, using the excuse of taking care of a patient, moved into my home. Our relationship deepened significantly during that time. The formidable Stella Maxwell, a force to be reckoned with in the business world, transformed into an affectionate, clingy kitten at home. A pair of pink slippers appeared in the shoe cabinet, cartoon. Cushions adorned the sofa, a vanity table materialized in the bedroom, and the walk-in closet filled with colorful clothes. Her presence gradually, beautifully, permeated every corner of my world. The East City project was completed, and the opening ceremony was held. On stage, Stella and I acted as if we barely knew each other as we cut the ribbon. We then separated to network with different groups. Midway through, when it was Stella's turn as project lead to give a speech, she was nowhere to be found. As time dragged on, the guests below began to whisper. I waited anxiously. Suddenly, my phone screen lit up. I quickly opened it. An image of Stella, still in her evening gown, lying unconscious on the floor, seared itself into my eyes. A text followed. "Leo Vance, let's talk. Bring 10 million in cash. If you don't come, or if you call the police, I'll kill her. Come alone. Don't force me to do something I'll regret." I bolted from the venue, frantically dialing Lily's number. The call connected quickly. "Lily Chen," I roared, nearly insane with rage and fear. "If you dare to harm Stella in any way, I swear I will make you pay 100-fold. There was a long silence on the other end before Lily's aggrieved voice came through. "Leo, you've changed. In the past, if I got even a tiny scratch, you'd be beside yourself with worry." I was about to explode, but I drove towards the address Lily provided, fighting to keep my voice even. "Lily Chun, do you realize what you're doing is illegal? So what if I do? All I want is you." Her delusion made me want to retch, but fearing for Stella's safety, I didn't dare provoke her further. "Before, whenever I wanted to see you, you'd rush to my side. You said you'd be with me forever." She rambled on about the past. I discreetly texted my assistant to call the police. The car led me to a derelict, abandoned building. My heart hammered against my ribs. On the edge of the rooftop, I saw Stella's silhouette. I scrambled up the stairs. Lily was standing beside an unconscious Stella, a small, gleaming knife in her hand. Julian Feng was waiting by the rooftop entrance, flanked by two burly men in black. Lily's face lit up when she saw me. "Leo, you came." I stared at Stella, calling her name, desperate for a response. Lily spoke impatiently. "Stop calling her. She can't hear you. She's been drugged." Her voice dripped with possessiveness. "You really care about her, don't you? The first thing you do is check on her." I looked at her coldly. "Here's the 10 million you asked for. As agreed, let Stella go." Lily nodded at Julian. He took the briefcase, opened it, and checked the contents. Confirming the amount was correct, he smirked at Lily. "You have fun. I'm taking the money and leaving." He swaggered off with the briefcase. The sound of a car starting below echoed ominously. Lily then gestured to the two men, who roughly seized me. Her face twisted into a grotesque sneer. "Leo, you still don't understand me. I don't care about money. It's always been you I wanted. Tell me, if it weren't for this bitch, would you be with me?" As she spoke, the knife in her hand pressed harder against the ropes binding Stella, who was tied precariously close to the edge. "Lily, wake up," I shouted, my voice desperate. "Even without her, I would never be with you again." Her eyes turned crimson. She lunged, grabbing my collar, her voice a harsh snarl. "Leo Vance, why? I love you so much. Why won't you be with me? Why won't I be with you? Don't you know the answer to that yourself? Well, if I can't have you, then no one can." With a crazed scream, Lily plunged the knife into my abdomen. As she raised the knife for a second strike, I saw my assistant burst onto the rooftop with a team of police officers. Only when I saw Stella being safely rescued did I allow myself to succumb to the blackness. When I woke again, I was in a hospital room. It was empty. As I tried to get up to find Stella, my assistant came in. He reassured me that Stella had only inhaled a large amount of anesthetic and was still unconscious, but otherwise unharmed. Looking at Stella, sleeping peacefully in her hospital bed, I felt like the luckiest man in the world. A month later, Stella and I held our wedding. As for those who had harmed me, I did not choose to simply let them go. The Chen group went bankrupt. Lily Chen and Julian Feng were imprisoned for intentional injury and kidnapping, likely to spend the rest of their lives behind bars. And I? For the rest of my life, having Stella by my side was more than enough.